Hey Internet, this is Cheshire from Cheshire Plays Games. One small insignificant part of AUStream, and with me, of course, is Coops Whole Box and Dice. How you doing, man? What is up? What
Really,
is
really well.
up?
Oh, so much is up.
So
So very
much.
much is up. It's like also like halfway through the year now, more than halfway through the year. It's like that freaky 2017's almost over thing, right? So it's
hmm
terrifying but cool. But glad after having some tech issues last week, glad to be back, being able to do this. And yeah, hopefully a big shout out to everyone listening. And we don't have these issues because the internet in Australia is just such a pain. So fingers crossed, we are interruption free for another episode of the podcast because it's a lot of fun. And so much is happening at the moment as well, right? There's
Oh, it
just so
is.
much going on in just the world of everything MTGO stream related.
Oh, yes. Stuff that I can't talk about.
Yes. But there's plenty of stuff we can talk about, right? There
There
is still plenty of
is.
stuff that we can talk about, even though there's not all stuff that we can't talk about. But
Exactly. So we're as ready as we normally are. Coops, you wanna carry us to our first segment?
sure, I can absolutely. We can definitely start it off, and obviously we didn't get to touch on this last week, but there was a pro tour that we had over in Kyoto, which was a just one for the ages actually. Like if you follow Magic on Twitch or if you followed the Twitter feed, everyone had a hand in like foot in mouth opinion, and it was very intense, and it was brutal. It was one of those things where you laugh about this when your mates misplay, but to like misplay at a tournament, just like anyone who thinks Magic is just a bit of fun. Of course it is, and it probably should be most of the time. But when there's $50,000 on the line, everyone's human, right? And seeing a mistake like that is just brutal. But amazing work by both competitors, and they were so classy about it. And it was refreshing to see a bit of humanity. I think that's what I liked.
Now, for those people at home who didn't follow the Pro Tour, do you mind letting them know what that, that mistake was?
Sure. So, hopefully you have a rough idea of the cards from Amonkhet. If not, the card in question is Hazaret, the red god who has haste and is indestructible. And the only thing that stops old Hazy Haz from attacking is that you need to have one or fewer cards in hand. And obviously, at an F&M, it's pretty chilled. At a Pro Tour, if you announce combat or that you're moving to combat, that is an absolute declaration. And the unfortunate man holding two cards, just I guess had already in his mind cast the first incendiary flow, and then just realized that he could then in fact not attack. So it was brutal. Yeah. It was very tough. It was one of those things where you got to feel for anyone in that situation. Maybe there is Hazaret's foil in one of those packs. Who knows? We
Who
can get the
knows?
one of the other
Maybe.
gods. One
And,
maybe, but it was brutal. But like I said, it was beautiful to see
it's a
such
hair of devastation.
camaraderie.
It's a hair of
Yeah, no, no,
devastation.
yeah, Hazaret's foil. I was saying Hazaret's foil, not as in sorry, not foil as in like a foil Hazaret. I mean like Hazaret's foil as in like the literal English definition of the word foil, not the blinged out
I
card.
see, I
Yes,
see. Now I
yeah, you do
understand.
see now. But it was very very cool, and I know certainly at my games day this that we just had this past weekend, everyone was talking about the event. So even though it was not the nicest thing to happen, it certainly got plenty of conversation going around Magic, and hopefully shed a bit of light on just how serious those pro tours are. So that was it
Mm-hmm.
was very cool.
So
But
winding
yeah,
it.
what did you think of it yourself?
Uh, Look, the Pro Tour. I'm going to say something. I don't think this is going to be controversial at all. But I enjoyed the commentary team,
Yep.
the history making commentary team. I think that was really cool with Melissa Del. I always screw up her name. With Melissa and Maria um,
Yes.
on commentary was really great. I think that was
Yeah.
a step in the right direction for all of you people saying, PC, SJW.
Yeah.
You can stick it because
They were really
was
good
real
as
good.
well. They were super insightful and
Funny. They
yeah.
provided color commentary. It wasn't just all like watching. This is the thing. I was saying this to somebody who was complaining about it. Would you rather watch people who are interesting, or would you rather watch a chess game? Because if you've ever watched high-level chess games, they are boring as shit. No one wants to watch that, especially not me. Nah, never. Just nah, count me out.
Even though you're like Cheshire plays games,
That
you
has
don't
nothing to do
like
with chess.
Cheshire.
Nothing to do with chess.
I'm making a leap.
Yeah, too far. You jumped in the canyon, buddy.
No, but no, you're 100% right. They were refreshing. The commentary was good, and like you said, it's just if people are passionate about something, hopefully, like, when people listen to us talk, they realize it's just two guys who really enjoy Magic and a whole bunch of other stuff relating to games and TCGs. And if you're not passionate about something, it shows up so quickly. And I thought they were both great, and I had no issue with it. So
exactly,
bring it on. Just get people who love the game to commentate.
Speaking about two guys who love TCGs and stuff, so community Corkboard, what is going on around the traps and the place of the place? So recently we saw game day just happen on the weekend.
Yep.
I wasn't a part of it. I actually took a weekend off to just kind of chillax, which is unlike me, but I just kind of wanted to sit back and just, kind of chill a little bit, play some DBZ. So that was nice. Speaking of Games Day related stuff, Good Games Store Championships about a month away. Is that correct?
Yep. Yes. Yeah.
So they'll be running some last chance qualifiers probably this weekend or next weekend, I think.
Yeah, next fortnight, because obviously, like, there's so much with Ixalan coming up and a pre-release and then game day and store championships, and there's so much on. So it was really good. I'm sure lots of people preparing for last chance qualifiers headed down for game day. Plus, you got those sweet Abrade full arts, so they looked really nice as well.
Good. And the Pouncing Kitty.
And the Pouncing Kitty, yeah. So, it was really interesting because obviously, like, Mono Red did so well at the Pro Tour, and I'm sure at your local game day, you saw a lot of that reflected in the decks being played. I know we saw some decks that I hadn't seen at my local store in a long time, so it was super refreshing. People holding on to the old and trying to incorporate the new meta as well. So it was a fun event.
I don't suppose anyone was playing the weird solo fling deck at all. Have you heard about this one?
No. Yeah, I have.
So basically what it is, it's Metalwork, Colossus, Fling, and Insult to Injury. It's a turn 5 win.
Yeah.
Or sometimes turn 4. Doesn't always work, but it's slick enough to make me stand up and just go, I'm going to build this thing. I'm going to do it. Because if I can just fling somebody to the face for 20... you can guarantee that sounds like it's right up my alley.
You don't even have to fling them for 20, right? You just fling them for 10 because insult to injury doubles it. So.
Well, yeah, but that's how you hit them for 20.
Yeah. Or 22 or 24, whatever you're going through for. But
exactly.
Well, I've been working on something similar using Neheb, trying to play like get value from Neheb with insult to injury and then like end step, like before main end step. Yeah, like burn from within for like 10, but it's a janky deck, but it's lots of fun. But it was a lot of fun, and obviously, always good fun to see people come out and support Magic, and I think everyone's gearing up anyway for next month Fatal Push as the last and obviously highly touted promo. So yes. Yes, we definitely had to have some very interesting opinions on the F&M promo. So I'm pretty sure this is Renegade Rallier this month, and then Fatal Push is the last non-foil token one that we'll see. So in beginning of a new era for F&M prize pools. So thing with like MTGO Online as well, they're changing the prize support for that as well. So plenty of different changes and new opportunities for players to get their hands on some.
Isn't that news and opinions?
It's like a teaser.
Jumping forward. Stop it.
You introduced the topic, and I'm just like, that's relevant
Community
in some way, shape,
events.
or form.
That's we're just running through that first. We still got heaps to go through before we get to that.
We do. We do have heaps and heaps and heaps to go through. But no, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm glad you got a chance to take some time off because game day for me personally was brutal. I think I played in 4 events. Yes, I wish I was playing DBS. Everyone who maybe hasn't or has played it, hopefully you are enjoying Dragon Ball Super trading card game. It's like a really nice way after playing some aggressive, grinding like Magic matches to just decompress like Cheshire did over the weekend and just have a bit of fun.
It's real good.
And
it's real good. Actually,
some nostalgia.
I streamed some on was it Monday? I think it was Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. But that's I'm not chucking that up on YouTube because it looks terrible. But once I figure out the proper structure for streaming the tournaments over there, then we'll look at maybe adding that to the YouTubes and here to MTGAUStream. Well, we're rebranding to AUStream, but here to AUStream.
So we'll talk about things like DBS.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll be able to talk about other games and stuff, and we'll not just be streaming just Magic.
Yep.
As much as I would love that to be 24/7, we have plans. We have big plans.
Well, there's so much other great stuff out in the world, right? Like there are so many other amazing things, like you just mentioned, the Dragon Ball game just got released.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's another game from Panini just coming out.
Meta-X. Meta-Cross.
Yeah, is it Meta-Cross or is it Meta-X?
It looks like it should be Meta-X because it says Meta with an X, but it's actually Meta-Cross.
Yeah. Meta-Cross, right.
Because
sure.
People and marketing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you got like Meta-Cross, like Pokemon just came out with a new set. Hearthstone's got one on Friday. There's plenty of happening in the world of all TCGs.
I'm not covering the Pokemon stuff. Not unless that company wants to send us stuff because it's not a good return on investment. It's too much. And to be honest, it's not as fun as this is.
Absolutely not. That is the most fun. That is for sure. We opened a God Pack. I don't know if Magic players remember this, but they've Bandai have brought back in the God Pack concepts where it's like 10 foil rares at worst, and then like a couple of like super rares or special rares. And my mate cracked one, and I was just like, well, that's not normal, and that is a lot of value. It was almost like a booster box worth of value in one pack because he got both the hit and the Goku alternate art, and I was like, "That's insane! You don't need that."
From the other one, man.
I'll take the rest.
That's from the other one. But yeah, like I haven't opened a God Pack yet. I hope to. A God Pack, as you might remember from Theros, is just a full foil pack, just rares and mythic rares and special rares. So basically, rares, super rares, and secret rares. No, super rares, special rares. SPRs.
They're both S. It's like really confusing, right?
RSP SPR. No, RSR SPR.
Yeah.
Just name it something better. What is wrong with these companies? They can't market shit. But it's fine. So, speaking of community, considering we're still in community Corkboard. So there's a heap of DBS tournaments going around. I have had a chance, and I'll be doing some videos over the next probably couple of nights / weekend, where I'm going to drag Dana into hopefully playing some starter decks here on stream. But I can tell you right now, I'm thoroughly enjoying the game. As an high-ranked score DBZ player, and as a long-time MTG and other WWE Raw Deal and stuff like that, I can tell you this game's solid. It has legs. And I'm very much enjoying it. I really can't wait to see the next set in November, which is actually way close, much closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Considering the game is like fresh and new, and Bandai are kind of slotting themselves into a position, like, because they've done plenty of card games overseas, but never here. Never the foreign market, as they say. So we will see how it goes. So far, product is drying up really quick, which is both a good and bad sign.
Super fast.
So hopefully second printing comes out faster than what it did for Final Fantasy, because that was Final Fantasy's problem. I guess not its only problem, but its largest problem. The fact that prize support is already drying up as well, promo cards and playmats and stuff. So get down to your friendly local game store, snap up a starter deck. They're actually pretty good. They're
they are.
one of 5 different colors. 4? Wait.
No, the starter decks are all just
Blue.
the mono
Yeah,
blue
yeah,
ones.
I know, but it's like blue, red,
yellow,
green.
That's it. Blue, yellow,
So it's just
green,
4.
red.
Yeah, so it's
Just
one
the
of
4.
those 4. It's just blue. Okay, so
Yeah.
for you to make a deck out of it's real easy. It comes with 5 specific starter deck cards that only can be gotten in the starter decks. And a pair of those cards, plus, technically speaking, 3 of those cards are useful.
Yeah.
I mean, all the cards are useful, but I mean, particularly when it comes to a starter deck, there's starter deck only cards. There's 3 of them you definitely want, which is the 2 Vegeta God of Speed. One of them's foil, one of them's non-foil, and the actual hero itself, which you can only get out of that starter deck. So,
get
into FLGS, buy up the product. We don't care. We don't get money from it, but I'm telling you right now, the game's gas.
It's just a fun game.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a very, and it's like it's evolving very, very quickly as well. You know, like Chesh, you said you're doing some YouTube videos. I've got some stuff planned myself about it. The community's really engaged, really energetic. The biggest thing at the moment is actually working out the rules to the game. If you join some of the Facebook pages, they're like, they've got this amazing 14-page rule manual that kind of just says the same thing 50 times over and over without addressing any of the actual rules, which is great. We've like misplayed to victory 20, 30 times in the last week. So once I actually know what the rules are, I'm sure I'll get a lot better at the game. But I'm just playing a filthy mono red list, and I went undefeated on Tuesday night, got myself a sweet playmat. But you definitely want to get those promos up, because if they don't reprint those promos, those cards are so strong, and they will tip the balance of a deck in a mirror match 100%.
All the Broly cards.
I just want the Gokus. I just want the red Gokus to play in my mono red list.
Anyway,
but, it's a lot of fun.
We'll move on to the community questions. So we've got one here from Ursa's Trade House, who sends us through, do you have any favorite lore-based Magic characters that don't have cards to represent them? I want to change this, because I did discuss this with him, and he was quite legit like, oh, they don't have like a creature to represent themselves, etc., etc. And I was like,
right, okay.
Okay, why don't we just talk about Planeswalkers? Because I don't know about you, but I'd love to see Gerard from the Weatherlight as a Planeswalker.
Oh, wow.
Volrath as a Planeswalker. Urza as a Planeswalker. Because we're going back to Dominaria, right?
Oh, yes.
And if
we are.
If we're going back to Dominaria, there's no rhyme or reason why they couldn't reslot in these characters and bring them back to life, essentially. Or even like, we're going to go back into Dominaria, into the history, and maybe they'll spend an entire year going through, like, last time on Dominaria. This is what you've missed out on like 10 years ago. And then bring it up that way.
Previously on Dominaria.
Exactly. I, for one, would just absolutely for sure. I mean, look, Khan is a Planeswalker, right? Khan was part of the legacy weapon, wasn't he? Like, he was part of, from what I remember, Urza took the Weatherlight when it was brought back to life the second time, which is the ship that Gerard and Miriam and all them were on. And then he created Khan, and he instilled part of the beaten, broken Weatherlight into Khan. So technically speaking, Khan is the embodiment, the soul of the Weatherlight. So if that can happen,
I can get there with that.
Yeah, give me new Planeswalkers, but don't Wizards. I'm just Wizards. Please, this time, just maybe lay off reprinting the same named Planeswalker for years on end. Just please don't. Just give us some new ones. Just give us some new ones. That's all I ask. Yes. What do you think?
I actually, one of my favorite Planeswalker stories is actually it's maybe like a not so popular one, but I like it when they take a character that you saw maybe the first time round and then work its story in that, like, they've discovered their Planeswalker Spark for the first time, or something like an Obnixilis, right? So was a legendary creature, And then when they revisited it in the Zendi block, it was then a Planeswalker. I like story arcs like that where they take a character that had some influence early on in a story and then become a Planeswalker, or even like I like when they revisit a block. Like when we saw with Shadows over Innistrad, right? In Eldritch Moon, they printed the Liliana, so I like when they use a Planeswalker from a older set, and when they revisit that, they refresh the character. That I'm okay with because they're revisiting somewhere where that. Yeah, I am because that Planeswalker was already there. So thematically, I'm okay with it. It's when they just do the copy paste I don't like. I love like Planeswalkers like Tamiyo and stuff. I'd love to have more access to a card like Tamiyo, but don't just gloss over it. Don't make a Tamiyo Saheeli, don't make a Planeswalker Obnixilis for the sake of just doing one to thematically fit into the plane. Like, actually, what's the point of devoting all the time to the Gates Watch, but then you just do...
So back then, we didn't even have Planeswalkers. So we don't technically need them. Shadows of Innistrad, you know what I would have loved to have seen? Olivia Voldaren as a Planeswalker would have been amazing.
That'd be cool.
But instead, you gave us what should have been the best vampire we've seen in a long time, and instead was pretty underwhelming. Let's be honest. It was great in sealed. It was great in draft, and in constructed it sucked ass because it was too small and too easy to deal with. It just wasn't good. I would have much preferred to see that as a Planeswalker over Sea Lily. But that's just...
Yeah. Like, I feel like Innistrad's one of those few sets where, like, Lily kind of gets a free pass, though. Like, of all the places and planes to go to, like, I'm okay with Liliana being in the horrors and zombies and, like, infestation. I was okay with that. Like, I wish that there was, like, more... Like, we saw Arlen. I would have loved to seen, as you said, a vampire version of Arlen, to have both a Planeswalker and a werewolf, a Planeswalker, a vampire and a werewolf flip Planeswalker combo. I would have been all for that to just really reinforce the theme. And, there's so many of those like tribal commander decks, and I know would love to have access to cards like that as well. And,
we'll definitely get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, of course, but like you just love seeing those little Easter eggs in sets. So it is a good question because there is so many opportunities, and I really hope from what we're seeing after this story arc wraps up that there's going to be some aggressive but bold and new introductions of Planeswalkers, or at least if they're going back and using an old one, that they're going to actually commit some creative energy to it and give us something with a bit of flair. That's all I can hope for, really.
Exactly. So we might move on to this week on YouTube. So you wanted to specifically speak about there was an SCG video.
Yeah, so right? there was lots of good. Yeah, there was two awesome videos that I found this week. The first one, or in the last couple of weeks, the first one was what happens if you didn't have to have a creature as your commander. So it was exploring legendary X as your commander, so doesn't have to be a creature.
Weapon. Legacy weapon. Yeah. I mean, no way. Play with the Weatherlight.
Like there was some crazy stuff where people were just like, that's dumb, you can't have that. But then there's also the people that are like, that's kind of insane. Like if you have and obviously like equipment would become, very expensive very quickly kind of thing, depending on how the interaction works with it. And then maybe equipment's busted because it doesn't get killed very often. But there was plenty of, arguments like, can you have a ramp piece as your commander that happens to be a legendary artifact? And like your whole deck is about just like cheat value and stuff. And I was like, I'm all for a world where like we're prepared to ask those questions. And I don't think it works because the balance probably gets thrown off kind of thing. Like if you can have you can never really deal with this legendary X, it is probably unfair. But, it's certainly made for some very heated discussion in the comments. And like, some of the pieces of equipment that you mentioned were certainly thrown up. And I was just like, you know what, that's some outside the box thinking, right? I was all for that.
Although
that's all we can.
In saying that, so on Tuesday night, I went and did Commander the Gathering that we were going to talk about last week, which is currently not up on my YouTube yet. I'm still waiting for Brad to add it because he has been the busiest. But we did a cross of the old gods versus Nicobolus Planeswalker, quite literally. So I was playing 3 copies of the Planeswalker at my whim, which is great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
That's very cool.
we also did something very similar, but I think that mine was so much better. It was Arch Enemy, by the way, just in case anyone's wondering. So that is up over at twitch.tv/Diyoshi, and if you go through his archived videos, it'll be on there for Tuesday. So go and check that out. We didn't have any face cams on, but we had a lot of fun, and we played with the Arrogant Station thanks to Wizards, and we had a lovely time. So that was good as well. Speaking of Wizards-related stuff, in a way, Marshall Sutcliffe. Have you been checking out his vlogs, his blog cliff?
Yeah.
Marshallog blog cliff.
It's very clever.
So Marshall Sutcliffe at the moment has a blog that he's put up under MTG Breakdown. If you go and have a quick check on the YouTubes, and go and give him a follow because his blogs are actually pretty cool. You get to see the behind the scenes of a Magic commentator who gets to, obviously travel all around America and sometimes outside of America, and he started blogging the whole process so that we can see him on his journey, how he's, going around, them screwing around in hotel rooms with LSV and all of those guys, and it's just genuine fun. It's about as good as the GV logs, which is Graham Stark from Loading Ready Run. So go and check those out. Another YouTube video I want to talk about just quickly is the Olivia Voldaren one. That's on Tolarian Community College, and that's CS Spranks, Caitlin Spranks, the cosplay. She's dressed up as Olivia anyway. It's hilarious, and you should check that out because that was fun. You got any other YouTube stuff you want to bring up before we move on?
Yeah, there is actually, and this one is it's definitely going to appeal to some of you, and some of you probably may not be as interested. But there is an awesome YouTube channel called The Magic Man Sam, and he does a lot of spotlight on artists and a real just in-depth look at the graphics on the cards and the artwork, and there's little bits of cardboard that you play with that you probably never really bothered too much to look at who the artist was, and you only care if you have some unhinged lands and that kind of stuff. And Sam really takes it a step further, and he did a video of Stephen Belladin, who has done so much art for Magic, and he did the basics for the Theros block, which was really, really cool. And it's just a really unique way, and he's actually been able to interview quite a lot of the artists that he speaks to, and it's just a really interesting insight to how they use just inspiration from their just everyday life and how they travel the world, and they took inspiration from like hillsides in Greece when they were doing like the plains and the forests and stuff for Theros, and how they just traveled to loosely themed areas kind of thing, like over in Japan for things like Kamigawa, and they've used those like real world cultural influences to do to do their art. And it's a very well produced video. He's got a few of them. He covers a few different artists, and you'll be bound to see a few of cards that you've looked at and gone, I've always loved that card. And it's really nice just hearing the artists themselves and hearing someone like Steve talk about the process of how he put that card together and where he drew influence from. So very, very fun series. I certainly enjoyed it.
Very cool. I know GP Melbourne, myself and Des Maggs, who does some of our imagery. We got the chance to chat with Ryan Yee. And
awesome.
That was really amazing. And also Arcade Post.
Which cool.
Is why I have a bunch of Arcade Post tokens because, it's really good. Really good, really fun. But definitely check out Sam's stuff because Magic artists have a lot of personality. They're not your average I'm so artsy. They're really just lovely people who aren't arrogant or anything like that. They love to talk and tell stories, which is so goddamn amazing.
Yeah, and they've got some incredible ones, right? I'm sure every single one of them, and I really like that Wizards do a good job of refreshing the artist cycle as well. I think it would be very easy to just keep rolling out the same guys and girls that do the art, and I think they do pay a lot of attention to getting the right type of artist for depending on which plane they're going to and which block and what the feel of it is. So I think whoever's in charge of the art department at Wizards does a pretty bang up job,
doing a
in my
pretty damn
opinion.
good job. Yeah. All right, so
Yep.
we might move on to news and opinions. And boy, do we have some news, and boy, do we have some opinions.
we do, but sorry, just to cut you off, I was just thinking about this actually while you're talking. I think if I could build a commander deck with a non-legendary creature and I had to pick a legendary artifact, I think I would go back to original Innistrad and I'd pick the Grimoire of the Dead. So like the sack it and put all creatures from graveyards onto the battlefield. I think that is a deck that I'd like to abuse, and I think you just have awesome interactions. But
you are a horrible person.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Okay, well, we might move on to
wonderful person is what you're looking for.
No, it's not.
We will.
So C17 spoilers are happening. Now that I've got that cat hair out of my mouth.
Huge.
So I'm gonna say this: there's a lot of really good stuff up on the Wizards website at the moment. There's a lot of good spoilers going around. If you check Mythic spoilers, there is some spoilers up there where they're just like basically putting everything together for us. But I wanted to specifically bring up my first pick that's coming out of these, and I'm just seeing if there doesn't seem to be a spoiler up for it. Why is that? I know it was definitely... Okay, doesn't matter. It was definitely spoiled correctly, because I saw it in... Mana Sources video. And that is... As soon as it loads up... Fractured Identity. This is a sorcery from... I believe the Wizards deck. It might be from... It's got to be from the Wizards deck. I was about to say it might be from the Dragons deck, but it's not, because... Oh, it could be, I guess. But I doubt it. It's 3 colors, 1 blue, and 1 white for a sorcery. Exile target non-land permanent. Then, each player other than its controller creates a token that's a copy of it. Hashtag Phage the Untouchable. Hashtag 1 turn win. That's my choice.
I just think, like, it's obviously
so
there are the hilarious but yet competitive like applications of this card, but just like the crazy stuff you can do and like the BM that you create by doing this on like an opponent's creature. It's just amazing. It's just like how to alienate one person and make best friends with the rest of the board. Like it's just
this is going to be great in so many decks. I imagine Stacks running it just to be a prick. I imagine Group Hug playing it. I think this does come from Dragons because the Wizards from memory are Grixis.
Yep. Yes.
So that's what I remember. Definitely Grixis. So this would definitely be from the Dragons deck, I think. But I just think that there's so many things. Like, imagine doing it on a curse. Like, curse yourself, then cast it on yourself, and give the curse to every other player. Now, you're playing blue-white, Academy Rector. I like playing my enchantment, being able to search for it and play it for free, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Curse myself, give it to everyone else. See ya, suckers.
Yeah. I was down a similar train of thought, but mine's probably a little bit more twisted than yours. I was thinking of giving everyone Demonic Pact as just a nice little gift, just being like, hey everyone, please enjoy this card. Yes. So just as a if you can keep it around just as you get to you lose the game part, you're just like, everyone loses the game.
Everybody dance out. Oh, you will lose, by the way.
Yeah, you're absolutely you're all dead. As you lose your turn and it goes to the next person, they now lose their turn. Like there are some brutal applications with a card like that. So
You
I
are
love to see
terrible.
Wizards. Yeah, that's
So
what I think. I think of like.
So C17 comes out on Friday the 25th here in Australia. Yep.
Yep, couple of weeks.
Yeah, the RRP I think is like $45 or $49. These decks are definitely going to be worth it for sure. There's some really good stuff. Do we know? I think we've got like cats, dragons, wizards, vampires. There's also a cat dragon token in one of those decks, be it the cat deck or the dragon deck. I assume it's in the dragon deck because cat dragon. But cat dragon.
Kragan.
A kragan.
Or drat.
A drat. Will be one to
Kragan sounds a lot more intimidating than a drat.
Yes. But there's some really cool stuff, especially in the cat deck. So cat deck is Selesnya. It's green-white. There is Miri Weatherlight Duelist. Hey, look, Weatherlight theme came up again. That's got to be coincidence, right?
Yep.
It is 1 colorless, 1 green, 1 white, legendary creature cat warrior, first strike. Whenever Miri Weatherlight Duelist attacks, each opponent can't block more than 1 creature this combat. So give it unblockable somehow.
Yeah.
Set for life. As long as Miri Weatherlight Duelist is tapped, no more than 1 creature can attack you each combat.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Busted.
This is just so good. Cat Tribal. Cat Tribal. She's Cat Warrior. Cat Tribal. I'm just saying, like, so good. With Regal Caracal and Pride Sovereign. It's just so good.
Yes, of course.
This is so good.
Oh. So busted.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're going past the dragons, though. I can't believe you're going past
look, man.
the dragon.
The dragons are
5
fine,
color.
But go and read it out. I'll just sit here and wait.
No, I just can't believe you're passing up on a 10/10 for 9, like 4 generic, and then all the colors of the rainbow. Like, and it has, when it attacks, like, you choose like a dragon you control, you draw that many cards based on its attack, then you can put a permanent card like from your hand onto the battlefield, and it makes all your other dragons cheaper as well, whether it's in the command zone or on the battlefield. And it's just, I love cards like this. I just love the whole kind of like Kalia, take something from your hand and chuck it down onto the battlefield. And those horrible dragon decks where you just like, oh, you're at 10 mana? Yeah, now we're in a whole world of pain because this is when all the big beasties come out. So I'll see your cats with giant flying, fire-breathing lizards in the sky. Thank you very much.
Well, don't worry. When you come over for PAX, we'll definitely be doing that. So we'll see who's pre-con wins supreme.
I'll be playing One Punch Man. Old Shuey. That's what I'll be playing.
Shuey.
He's great. He's a Silent Tempest. He's had the best time.
I just love the fact that you've called it Shuey, and the first thing that pops into my mind is you drink it out of a shoe.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently that's what the kids do these days. I don't know. So you were going to mention changes to the MTGO prize structure. New reward packs?
Yeah, so it's like very fitting because I'm sure plenty of activity with all the new sets coming out, but they similar to what they're doing with FNM, with changing it away from the promo cards to tokens. They want to reward people who are both spending money, which is very interesting, like spending real world dollars on the game, as well as participating in events. So there will be like little treasure chests, kind of what you see at the moment, prizes that you can exclusively win by spending money in game, which is very cool. So you'll be limited to, I think, 3 a month, but depending on what tier that you fall into. So for people that are quite competitive and, obviously if you are very good at the game, you shouldn't have to sink too much money into it, but you do actually get a little bit for spending money or, buying new sets, for example, when they come out online. And then you'll also get new prizes just for being in leagues each month and being in constructed tournaments. So there's a real focus on not participation medals, because you do still have to do well, but they are encouraging, they are rewarding multiple play over a course of a month. And I do like that they're adding now an additional bonus for actually investing your money into the game. So just a little something for nothing and something that other players won't have access to unless they themselves are putting money into the game.
Yeah, when you can go into an intermediate league 0-3 and get nothing.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
except for what you
feels
drafted
bad,
or
right?
what you got. And it's like, well, why am I playing this then? Like, I could just go to an
Yeah.
actual physical store and end up with physical cards, which are worth more than
Yeah.
the online cards. So this makes sense change-wise. I
Yeah.
hope it works out. I hope it works out better than the current prize system.
Yeah.
As much as treasure chests are cool and all, I think that even pirates on the high seas put better stuff in their treasure chests than what people are cracking out of the MTGO treasure chests. That makes me a bit sad. You can't call it a
it's such a
treasure chest
lottery
when it
though.
doesn't have treasure.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's such a lottery. It's like
yeah,
sometimes it's just like it, and like obviously you can't have just all bombs because then it's just like,
it
well,
floods. Yeah,
it
just,
floods, right?
you know
But
what? Call it. Just call it what it is. Wizards,
yeah,
wizards, wizards. Call it what it is. It's a lottery chest, not a treasure chest.
yeah. Treasure gives the wrong idea.
Yeah. Treasure means that I'm going to crack something that I want to use, and most of the time, I'm cracking hashtag feel bad, terrible rares that I'll never play
Yeah.
in any format, and I play multiple formats, and then I crack a foil that no one cares about because it's MTGO, and everyone's like, foil? Gross, that'll just make my MTGO shut down. So,
Slightly counterproductive,
yeah,
making the foils
exactly.
have the unique ability to crash your system.
Like, it was, the intent was good, the
Yeah.
naming was unfortunate. You can't call it a treasure chest. And also, they're pretty hard to get those treasure chests, technically speaking, if you're not winning all the time. And I think that that was also a bad move. I think that it should have been, oh, did you go 0-3? I feel bad, man. Look, here, have a treasure chest. Give them one treasure
Maybe,
chest
yeah.
at least, or
Yeah,
even just a
yeah,
booster,
sure.
but a treasure chest would have
Yeah.
been like such a throwaway item that you could have thrown in. Would have been fine.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's good. In any move that is going to encourage more players to participate. You know, there's nothing worse than when you're waiting 45 minutes to get a league match off the ground. So if more people are committed and there's more players, then that's a big old tick. And you know, if foils aren't what people want, give them something else. You know, give them other things. So another tick in the right direction. Certainly better than the foil squirrel tokens.
Exactly. So back to Pro Tour results. Australia, only 2 Australians made day 2 out of I think like 8 Australians. As far as I'm aware, they went 8-8 or something like that. We didn't do great. Mindsy's still gold, so he doesn't. I imagine he just doesn't care really. Well, he would have cared, but not to the point where it's like gonna get him down. Dude's gold, you know. Mindsy's just gonna smash up the next one. So, how did we do on decks? So Blue Red Control, where did that come?
Horribly.
Yep. Where did
first? Definitely came first in the whole process.
And where did my pick of Blue Black Zombies go?
Second.
I'm sorry, what?
Definitely second, not first. Unlike my Blue Red Control deck.
Needless to say,
we missed.
We bombed.
Yeah.
I think mine made top 16.
Yeah.
My pick.
Mine was nowhere to be seen.
And your pick was nowhere. I don't know if anyone even played Blue Red Control because everyone was just already over it.
Yeah, well, Monument disappeared off the face of the earth.
It was
like
Monument.
Raid was just yeah. They were just like, hey, you know that 2-mana uncommon instant called a Braid? Yeah, like your whole deck's dead. I was like, oh, it's really interesting. Like in a world of like Aetherworks Marvel, right? I would have loved to see how competitive Marvel was with a Braid. You know, like I would have liked to see that interaction.
Yeah, it was the whole thing was so geared in Red's favor. Like just because it's a very hyper aggressive deck, it's a really solid deck. But as per any new set, when a new set comes out, the aggro decks always have a big advantage in the field.
Yep.
We already knew that likely was going to happen. We didn't realize it was going to happen to the effect of 6 out of 8. But if you look at the top 16...
like 5 of 8 or something. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you look at the top 16 decks, you get a much better overall on what the actual format was like, rather than looking at the top 8 and then whinging that Ruminap Red should be banned, because that's stupidity. Don't do that. Don't knee jerk on it.
But like,
just don't.
But what I don't understand is, right, like the mono black list, the zombies list, kicks the shite out of the mono red list, and it didn't win. And when I saw so much mono red, I was like, how unlucky are you that, like, the favored matchup, you got it and you couldn't capitalize on it, because the zombies match wins.
The same with the snake deck, right? The black green
black constrictor.
Yeah. That has a really good matchup against Ruminap Red. Really good. Like something like an 80% matchup, and couldn't take it out.
Yeah.
And there was just too much in the field that it just like ended up just getting swamped to bad draw. And you know what? Feels bad.
Yeah.
Gonna happen. Feels bad. But
yeah, good life.
Can't pick him right all the time. But I think that it was perhaps the best Pro Tour we've seen in a while. Diversity was fine throughout the day. It was only that top 8 where it started kind of bugging out a bit. And I think that's pretty much it. We can move into pick one. Pack one, pick one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, we can.
I don't have my card recognition software up, so instead, we'll be using my Dragon Ball box, and I'll just be opening them and just displaying the magic cards on stream. So we'll just move that out of the way. Make a bolus boxes here. It's fine. A couple of devastation packs here. My camera's.
Do you mean we're not going to see an invocation straight off the bat?
No.
With the card loader. Invocation!
Transform. We want to rotate 180. There we go. Okay, great. Alright, cool. So, these are my last 2 Arrow Devastation booster packs left over from events and stuff that Wizards has supported. So, I just a big shout out to both Wizards of the Coast and Double Jump Communications.
Huge shout out.
They have been pretty instrumental this month in allowing us to do so much content and stuff with the community. Oh shit! Oh shit!
What'd you pull?
I'm so sorry about the swearing, but I have a foil Planeswalker.
Oh, is it old Nikki B?
I am not going to tell you. So, we'll go through the uncommons. So the first one off the bat, you're not even going to be able to see it properly. Hang on. Just go back to the old D-Busy box. Alright, there we go. So the first one is Steward of Solidarity. So 1 white and 1 colorless. Tap and exit the Steward. Create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance, and it's a 2/2. That's not bad for a bear. I don't think it's going to be your high pick at all. In Constructed, you haven't seen these come out in Constructed. There's just no deck for them. Even Monument, because Monument is you have to play the card from your hand. I can't believe that we'll be getting to this in a second. We've got a Saving Grace. 1 white and 1 colorless. Enchantment Aura Flash. Enchant creature you control. When Saving Grace enters the battlefield, all damage that would be dealt this turn to you and permanents you control is dealt to enchanted creature instead. +0/+3 to the enchanted creature. Does this go in your fog deck? I doubt it, right? It's just not
because most of the time I don't have a creature out on the board, right? So like, it was like one of the things people were talking about, like you pair it up with an indestructible creature and you have like swings like that, but it's like it's just too much tech. It's too cute to actually get off.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next note. That's land. Wow. That was a bit crazy. So we've got Riddle Form. Now this is interesting. So it's 1 blue and 1 color.
I love Riddle Form.
Enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may have Riddle Form become a 3/3 Sphinx creature till the end of turn with flying. No flying.
With flying. Yep. No, with flying.
With flying. Until the end of turn. 1 blue, 2 colors, scry 1. How come we haven't seen the return? And I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. How come we haven't seen the return of a good, strong counters deck? A do nothing, say no value deck.
Mono red.
Mono red. Yeah. Pretty much.
Actually,
Red.
the deck that this most wants to play in is the Blue Red Prowess deck with the Enigma Drakes and the Baby Snapcaster Mage thing, the Blood Water Entity thing that put a instant or sorcery back on top of your deck. Like that was as close as it got, and it was like it wasn't a real deck, it was like a tier 2.5 kind of thing. But Mono Blue Control had a tiny little chance, right? Thing in the Ice, Engulf the Shores, Kefnet, Torrential Gearhulk. But even with all that, it just couldn't do it. It needed
Makes me sad, man.
one more. Yeah, it needed one more clear. That was the big thing. It needed one more reliable board clear that wasn't Crusher Tentacles.
I think it also suffered from not having a solid counterspell other than Disallow. There was no splashable deck. Because I think Counterburn probably could have been like really good with Riddle's form.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Okay, so we'll move on to the rare slot, which is actually a mythic. This is wrong one. The Locust God.
Nice.
So, 1 blue, 1 red, 4 colorless. This is amazing. This card is just brilliant.
We love
it. Flying, whenever you draw a card, create a 1/1 blue and red insect creature token with flying and haste. For 2 colorless, 1 blue and 1 red, draw a card, then discard a card. When it dies, return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. It's a 4/4. It's a legendary god. It is amazing. It's great in Commander. We did see this a little bit in Constructed. Not as much as I was hoping. A little bit. I think that next set, this might see a lot more play. I'm thinking with Ixalan we'll see a lot more decent card draw.
He needs another burn spell, right? Because you're going to lose Collective Defiance is the red one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, one of the keys that deck wants is a Collective Defiance, and then you're going to lose that, so...
It'll make it difficult.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
And our foil is Nikki B.
Oh, yes, called it. If I call it, that means the card's mine. They're the rules. So I guess the card before you show it.
Nicobolus God Pharaoh. 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, 4 colorless. Planeswalker. Bolus. He comes in with 7 loyalty, which is fairly good. +2, target opponent exiles cards from the top of his or her library until he or she exiles a non-land card. Until the end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. +1, each opponent exiles 2 cards from his or her hand. I hate the foiling process. It makes it really hard for me to see this writing. -4, Nicobolus God Pharaoh deals 7 damage to target opponent or creature an opponent controls. And then -12, exile each non-land permanent your opponent controls. It's just real strong. We've seen it in control decks in Standard. We have seen it in use very much so. So I think that this will have some staying power into the next set.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Grixis control lists have started off with 3, and then they went down to 2, and now they go down to 1. And then some of them don't even board it anymore. It's such a bomb, but when the format is so fast, it's just a dead card for too long. And even with Sweltering Suns and Hour of Devastation and so many ways to affect the board, it's just not enough.
Yeah.
So I hope there is a place for Bolus, I really do. But I actually saw a funky as list. It was ramp, Oath of Nissa, so actually not playing any of the colors for Bolus. It was just your red green ramp list with Oath of Nissa, which allows you to cast Bolus as if it was effectively 9 colorless or 8 colorless, and it just abused that. And I was like, sure, pair Bolus with Ulamog, why not?
Bolus
didn't win a lot, but it was very innovative. I was like, that's clever.
I just can't believe we just pulled a foil one. That's crazy.
It's good money. It's 40, $50 US maybe, depending on where it's still sitting at.
Nice. All right. Well,
it'll pay for some more Dragon Ball Super.
I was thinking of putting it towards Commander cards, to be honest.
Oh, but you haven't got that already sorted? Mate, you got to get on top of that.
I know, right? Pre-order your Commander now.
Pre-orders in, yes. Absolutely. Oh, speak of the devil. Yeah. Seriously, if you haven't actually ordered your commander stuff, do not like chance it
No.
because
Look at what happened
the
last
decks
time.
actually. Yeah, exactly.
One of
And
those
these
decks
ones
was sold
actually
out
look
from like
really
day 3.
solid.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. There's too much value. The decks look too fun just to play with. I think they're going to attract all kinds of players. So yeah, you don't want to be chancing it that a couple of weeks later your LGS just has the full selection kicking around. Get in and pre-order them.
We do have one more booster. Do we want to just keep it for next week?
Yeah, why not? Let's we can do a final swan song.
Swan song?
Swan song.
I know where you were going
Swan
with
song.
that. It's fine. Cool. All right. Well, slotting all of my stuff in there. DBZ in the middle. Did we have anything else? Have we missed anything? I don't think we have.
I don't think so.
Did some discussion about DBZ, so that was fine.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you ever played? Did you ever play like Force of Will or Vanguard or Final Fantasy?
I tried Final Fantasy and didn't really like it. It was fine, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. But then this feels very much like that, and I like this, so it must have been just the property because I don't know my way around Final Fantasy. I've actually never played. Well, I've played one Final Fantasy game in my entire life. Well, 2 actually. One was an MMO, and the other one was on the PSP.
Yep, cool. Nice.
PS Vita it might have been. I can't remember.
Yeah, if I was gonna say probably Vita.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you like Dragon Ball, they've got a good smattering of all the series. You've got gods. You've got early stuff. It's
Frieza Saga.
Frieza Saga. Yeah. Yeah.
There's unfortunately no Saiyan Saga, but that's actually not a bad thing.
Yeah, you've got to save some stuff for future sets, right?
Yeah, I don't believe I've seen any GT.
No, there's a lot of Super in there, obviously.
There's Cell Saga. I personally can't wait until we get Android 18 as a personality in Krillin.
Yeah, as a leader.
Because I'd love to play those as leaders. That would be absolutely.
I'm surprised that there was no Piccolo leader.
Yeah, so was I. I was also surprised that there's there's only one starter deck. Like that.
Yeah.
Really makes me a bit nervous because, and not that it's a bad thing per se, and I understand where they've come from because it's a Japanese game. And most Japanese games generally just only have one starter because it is quite literally like, here's the intro, bye. But those starters are selling for $25 with no booster pack.
Yeah, and nothing in them, just $25.
Yeah, the one thing I keep saying is that the reason that Magic is still leading the packs is because they put up a starter, and with their starter comes 2 boosters. Here's everything to play, and here's 2 boosters to try and extend your enjoyment. And I think other card games need to do that.
Yeah.
But in saying that, that's because I'm a Magic player and I'm used to it. Whereas a lot of Japanese card game players like Vanguard and stuff, they don't get stuff like that.
You don't get it, yeah.
Force of Will that I've got up there somewhere, chucked in a box, they don't do that either. But then again, Force of Will's a bit of a different pony altogether.
Yeah, 100%.
So they brought out a set, must have been like a good 6 months ago since I've touched it. But I went and bought a box because I was like, I'm going to get into this, I'm going to do all this stuff. Distributor were like, yeah, we'll send you some stuff, we'll get in touch, which didn't end up coming to fruition, but mostly because they went, hey, that box that you bought, we didn't get any starters, sorry. And I went, how do I play the game? Like, I'm not going to go in and buy a whole bunch of singles just, like, because you should have starters available. You got plenty of boxes, but no starters. How does that make any sense? Because they just simply didn't get enough starters to boxes ratio for actual players in Australia. Here's a heads up: card companies don't do that. Don't do that. That is the first way you will get somebody like me going in and going, you know what? I probably do like the game, but unfortunately, you can't get your shit together. I'm not going to play your game. And then I'm going to say it on social media. I'm going to say it on YouTube. I'm going to say it on streams. And that's unfortunate because I don't want to rip your game to shreds because you don't have your shit together. Different with Dragon Ball Super, I've noticed that we are now running out of boxes. There are still plenty of
Yeah.
starters available, which is good. It's a good sign. Well, you know what I mean. It's a good sign for new players wanting to get into it.
Yeah. Well, running out of the promo packs as well. Like a lot
Yes.
of the LGSs around my way, there's a 4-pack. If for everyone who hasn't seen it, I think that's retailing for about $30 at mine. So boosters are normally $7. So you're paying $2 extra for this. Only you can get in this pack Vegeta promo card, and we sold out a couple of days ago at my LGS, and I called up a couple close by, and they're also sold out because this is, I guess, where everyone has a little bit of fear with DBS at the moment, is that there's no announced second print runs for a lot of stuff, and people don't want to get caught out if they want to play that card in like the future. So yeah, it's got to be tough, right, to launch a new card game anywhere, and guessing that right amount is the thing that gets people in jobs or forces people out of jobs, sadly. So hopefully they
the other problem there as well is the fact that we also don't currently have proper organized play set up. So they haven't announced regionals or nationals or anything like that because it's a new game, which is fine.
Yeah.
But that's actually a big puller for people here in Australia, knowing that a foreign card game is going to get the support it needs. The same thing originally happened with Yu-Gi-Oh, believe it or not. Yu-Gi-Oh, when it was first brought to Australia, there was no official tournament structure announced. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I can't imagine that now with Yu-Gi-Oh.
No,
It does such a good job running the tournament structure.
Exactly. And that was a lesson they learned very quick and changed very, very quick, because they were like, oh, we didn't realize that we'd sell so much in Australia. Get on it quick. So they scrambled the shit out of that. So it was good.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think we're done.
I think we are. We kept to time. Look at that. Look how professional we are.
Really nice. So if you want to stick around, we'll be busting a box of Dragon Ball Super in just a minute. But we're going to sign off on the podcast for now so that we can have a nice, clean break. And we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Peace. Don't say peace, mate. That's my thing. Okay. All right.